Johnny's Bite.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Tuesday, the 17th of June. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. And this is the day that we have set aside as servants of the sanctuary in the Greater Accra region. We call it the Accra Diocese, or Diocese of Accra, Anglican Diocese of Accra. And we'll be converging at the St. Joseph the Work Anglican Church, 6 p.m. tonight, to have a symposium on Corpus Christi, the body of Christ. It's a celebration, and which is for the church, but service take it personal because it's our festival. And the Reverend Canon Dr. Patrick Okanja-Botier will be the speaker. You can join us. You don't want to miss it. Doesn't matter whether you're a Catholic or a Presbyterian or a Methodist or whatever it is, denomination you belong to. It is a special one. It's under the leadership of Brother James Kofi Pinkus Pinkra, and we shall be there. Thank you to all of you who consistently connect with us, to the taxi drivers, to the trotro drivers, to the folks in their Uber and Yango and Bolt and Shaxi, to people driving their children to school, to the children particularly who are our fans. Thank you very much indeed. Some love Johnny's by say, Mommy, Johnny is in, means that we are late. Johnny is in, we are getting late. Mommy, let's go and listen in the car and listen to 3FM 92.7. That's how we like it in the town. As they say on the streets, that's how we like it in the town. You know, there's a certain narrative that I've seen coming back. You know, in the last 2-3 years, the narrative was that, oh, nobody watches Johnny's Bite. It's not a platform that you should be watching. That guy doesn't know anything. It's just spews, blah, 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 blah. Now, the argument is that, oh, Johnny doesn't bite. He licks because he's waiting for an appointment. And I've consistently said that I'm gainfully employed. I've been gainfully employed here at Media General for 10 years, for those who don't know. If I were looking for an appointment, I would have gotten an appointment a long time ago in the erstwhile government and in this government. And I've not just worked at Media General, I've worked at TV Africa, led by the Venerable Kwanzaa. I've had some stint with Plus FM. I've done some work with Pravda Radio, Professor Alabi and his wife, Professor Goski Alabi. I've done some other jobs, Good Life Game Show, as I said it. Some people don't like it that I came to talk about the fact that I had had some stint with Johns Hopkins University, the USAID, BCS project, Ghana Health Service. I've done some work many, many years ago. People don't like it. We didn't come today, but they say, oh, it's a useless platform. Then after the elections, people started saying that, oh, but you said this on this platform, you said it on your platform. So Johnny's Bite VAR actually caught up with people. But that's beside the point. So the first point is that I am not licking anything. I still bite. And I'll give you an example very soon. So I'm biting, but I'm not looking for an appointment because I'm gainfully employed. I'm grateful to my employers. The second point that has to be made is that when you have a government or a leadership that pays attention to the voice of the masses, for example, a common Johnny Hughes, who goes round to listen to the opinions of the ordinary man on the street, as the lawyers will say, or to the ordinary Ghanaians, as the politician will say, or to fellow Ghanaians, as Nanado will say. And you bring that here, fine-tune it and trumpet it so the leadership of the country can hear. And they apply what the people are saying, not a wholesale application, but they look at it and see the merits in it and decide that they want to apply it. You don't need to come and rehash it. You'll be wasting time. You'll be wasting your time because there are many other things. I'll give you a classical example. When I stood here to criticize the government about the 1 cedi on each litre that they wanted to impose, some called it the Doomsor tax, etc., the government saw wisdom in what we said. The government saw wisdom that they had to go back and do some consultation with the stakeholders and the people of the Republic of Ghana. The government saw wisdom that the timing was bad and they had to listen to the people. So the government said, instead of letting it kick in yesterday, the 16th of June, we will pause it, we will suspend it and listen to the people. Why should I be talking about it again when the government has listened to the plight of the people and said, I am coming to listen to you? As opposed to when we wanted to impose e-levy on the people, and the people said, oh, come and at least speak to us so we understand Professor Peter Kwate. They all the key stakeholders, their thoughts were not important. So we will pass it and you cannot do anything about it. And then further to that, the government said, okay, now we want to listen to you. We want to have 16 town hall meetings. And the government decided to have only 6 town hall meetings and came back to hurriedly pass it. And we all know the results, what happened. Same with betting tax, same with all the other taxes that some of which have been repealed. So when you have a government that listens and that doesn't have a mampamistic approach to governance, because if the issue you're talking about it has not been exhausted, you keep talking about it. But if it's exhausted, why do you talk about it? So if you say it is leaking, that's fine. But that only shows that you were watching. You were watching. But it's okay. We love you just like that. It's okay that we have this conversation. And then I told you also that the year began with a narrative to find who to hand the gallant of the electoral shame on. A very embarrassing electoral shame. They were looking for somebody on whose neck they could hang it on. They thought that they could hang it on Johnny's. I said, you can't hang it on me. Because as far as December after the elections, and I came to repeat that same sentiment in January. You didn't listen in December. You didn't listen in January. I said, after such a humiliating defeat, and those who listen in hiding will bear me witness. After such a humiliating defeat, your best bet is to accept responsibility, to go and regroup, rethink, and go back to the values and the principles of the political party that you belong to. It is not enough to be shouting Eshi Rado 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 and singing we shouting to save Ghana. Or it is not enough to be shouting Ehe Jobodo, no. Or Abai Papaba. The values and principles of the political party that you subscribe to must be principal to you. So that it is first of all about Ghana and not about entrenched positions about your political parties. You can decide to put me in a political party clothing. It has not worked under NDC. It will not work under MPP. It will not work under this government thing. You can try it. It has never stuck with me. And after more than 10 years of working, these things do not get to me because I had to tell you what actually you are failing to know. When you lose such an election, listen to me again. You go back into conclave, you regroup, which you're now trying to do after failing to listen to me, a small boy with no mind, right? The party chairman is being excused on the grounds of ill health. We know that he has been absent from the front line for quite some time, right? You are now regrouping to rethink and then to now look at unity. Those are the 3 things I spoke about. And to look at the values and principles of the political party that go back to the old ways. And for most of you who don't know, the greats in your party, right, including my grand uncle, the legendary Odoe Sykes, have given us things to read in the past. So when I talk about going back to the principles and the values and etc., you would know. Same like the NDC, I've taken time to read their stuff because I get closer to those who know, those who take time to teach. So it's not about screaming and tagging people you are licking. No. It doesn't. Those things don't win elections. Because Ketsi Johnny's by the people's eyes have been opened. They now know how to demand accountability. They now know how to ask their own government questions. You see that you didn't listen to me because I warned you and told you that these internal bickerings that are happening now, people going at each other, you think we don't know what you did, you think, and they are washing the dirty linen in public. I warned you about it. In fact, when you were in government, I told you about it, that listen to the people. Defeat is coming. Listen to the people. You say, oh, it's Johnny Hughes. We don't like him. We don't like him. But when it was under NDC and I was saying it, he's the guy. We like him. And the tapes are there. We didn't start today. Now the internal bickering, we're deciding, oh, I'm with the Baumia camp, I'm with the Canada Japan camp, I'm with the Brian Champon camp, I'm with the this. This is not the time to be looking for camps. This is the time to be finding unity because the cracks are too many. The same things that we spoke about in the past. I have stood here and spoken about the NSS people coming to me to tell me that they suspect that their monies are being taken away by some people who are the helm of affairs at NSS. I stood here. I said it. It's Fawasem Fio. I stood here. I said it. In fact, there was a NASPA president in Tema who came to me to say that they sat here in this studio. The following day, I did a bite on it. That they suspect that their monies are being invested by some people. Their monies are being used as collateral to collect loans. You dismissed it. You didn't listen. Today, the cat is out of the bag. Investigations have proven that what I was saying was not Sebin Kwasiasem as was said then, but it was Nyansasem. Today, the same people who were against me are now literally shamefully coming to support to say, yes, they have to pay, they have to bring the money, they took it, all of those empty noises. Put the pictures up there. If you pause as a political leadership to pay small attention, and the huge amounts of monies that are being mentioned, that are being bandied around, it gives you an impression. So we had all these monies, and we went to, what do you call it? We went to the IMF begging. Over 500 million Ghana cedis, ghost names. We spoke about all these things. Who paid attention? Say, oh, he's at it again. He's talking. Leave him to talk. These are mere allegations anyway. But we mentioned it so that you would yourself cleanse from within. Nobody bothered to listen to us. He said, oh, we look at him again. And you are still not repented from it because the first point of failure or of loss is denial. You are still in denial. You have not recovered from the shock. And that is why it is when you have such a situation, you go away from the public eye and you go and find, acceptance. You remember I gave you the jollof example. That we have given you, come to me. That we have given you all the ingredients and every resource you need to prepare jollof. You finish preparing the jollof and it becomes soggy. You blame tomatoes, you blame onions, you blame pepper, you blame shrimps, you blame this, you blame that. Depending on the kind of jollof you are cooking, if you want to have herrings in it or you want to have beef chops in it or pork chops or what, depending on how you like your jollof, you blame everything, including the saucepan, including the ladle, including the stove, including how hot the kitchen was, everything else. But you who put the ingredients together, for it to get to that point, you have failed to accept responsibility. How do you think that anybody will give you jollof to prepare again? I'm asking you, ask yourself. How do you think that anybody in their right senses will give you the opportunity to prepare jollof again? Flip the coin and ask yourself, if, for example, you had agreed that, oh, Charlie, I got the jollof wrong. Oh, forgive me, next time I'll do better. You say, oh, the rice was too soft. The rice, there's too much. The salt you gave me was too much. So you don't do that. Accepting responsibility is part of being a leader. Accepting responsibility is part of being a leader. It is not about finding who to blame outside, a person who was not connected, who was not part of it, finding him to blame. If you bring it here, it will fail. There are some other platforms that when you take it there, you may succeed. But here, if you bring it here, it will fail because the facts remain the facts. Listen to the Attorney General.
There are two members of Parliament who were investigated in this scandal. One was a former chief executive officer That is the Honorable Mustafa Yusuf. And so in his case, we basically had the evidence, relating to actions that he had taken as the executive officer, and then we interrogated him. In the case of the famous A+, the investigation is still ongoing, and there are talks with him with respect to the role that he will play, either in respect of providing evidence against those who try to do what is alleged to have been done, or if at the end of the day no agreement is reached, then maybe he will have to stand trial. That is where we are with respect. So the investigations are ongoing. We haven't concluded with him yet. The investigators were supposed to go to Parliament and do the interrogation in Parliament, and at the last time that they made a request, they could not do the.
So this one, the former NSS boss, MP for Yaba Kubore, has come out to say, look, I'm ready to go to court. That's why I said they are mere allegations. But the fact that you have an Attorney General who says we have done some work with the Yoko, the NIB, and we've put this out there, it should hit you that all was not well. And that this same boy who gets insulted but his questions never get answers should have been listened to, at least, if not in full but in part. When you put a question, what you get is not the response to the question, but an insult in return. How do you govern like that? How does anybody take you serious? And I say the same things to the new appointees. When the people ask you questions, you must answer. The erstwhile administration told us that, look, if you are a public servant and somebody poses a question to you about your work, you have 12 hours to answer. A full statement from the presidency, in fact, from the Chief of Staff's office was issued. How many questions did we not ask? Sometimes we had to go and use the RTI. That one cry you be, look, when this NSS, there was a documentary on NSS. You remember the court injunction? We wrote to Al Jazeera when they brought Alistair Matthias gold for whatever it is. We wrote to Alistair Matthias. The response we got was that, what do you call it? They gave them a response, the government a response at the time. And they never brought the response. And we put the Alistair Matthias conversation here. We spoke to Al Jazeera. Did we have to go to Al Jazeera when the government was just next door? When the government at the time receives foreign press, they are very receptive. They talk to them. Remember the Sputnik v. Chobo? We spoke to the Venezuelan newspaper ourselves, Marcus Tobiasen. Ken Ofori-Atta rejected if you refused to talk to us. But when we spoke to Marcus Tobiasen, we asked Marcus Tobiasen to speak with him. He spoke with him, and then he gave them a response. And Marcus Tobiasen gave us the response, and we brought to you that we had indeed paid some money. Why should our own government and our own people who we take care of, who take and chop our taxes, not think that they are accountable to us? Why? Why? Must we always go through some channels before we? Must we? When you talk, they say, oh, go to court. Use the RTI, go to court. Use the RTI, go to court. Find me what President Mahama has been saying about this. President John Dramani Mahama.
To achieve a legally robust regime to govern national service, I've also tasked the Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment to coordinate and present to Parliament a legislative instrument to support the implementation of the newly passed National Service Authority Act 2024. That's Act 1119. We will introduce short military training as part of our national service scheme. This will instill a sense of fitness and discipline into our youth.
So this is President Mahama, or this was President Mahama at the State of the Nation address. And I'm sure that's why the Attorney General is pursuing this. But let's go to the quarters of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, because Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta is also being chased around the world. Let's look at Sami Daku's, the one who speaks for the OSP. Let's look at it. Let's pay attention to his Facebook page first, and then we can come to this. Now, you may choose to distort facts or shift the goalposts, but the truth remains. As of today, Mr. Ofori-Atta has not produced any certified medical report or flight risk assessment for his personal or attending physician or hospital indicating that he is incapacitated or unable to travel. He was given the opportunity to appear before law enforcement between February and 2 January 2025, but failed 2 June 2025, but failed or refused to do so. Notably, he did not undergo any surgery on 21 or 22 March 2025, despite a statement from his medical coordinator widely circulated online suggesting otherwise. Furthermore, has Mr. Ofori-Atta not traveled in and out of the UK and USA between March and 31st May 2025? Is he able to fly? If he's able to fly internationally, what prevented him from appearing before law enforcement? For those who don't know, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta was the manager of Joshua and Caleb Economy. You remember that you and I were called Sambalat and Tobias? You remember that we were called, we are a proud nation, we'll not go to IMF, there's a Joshua and Caleb Economy. You remember all those things, yes. Now, Mr. Ofori-Atta's family has hit back or clapped back at the OSP. This 16th of June, family of Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, address number 40 in the Baningi Sito Road in Laboni, and the box number is there. Please, or press release. Ken Ofori-Atta undergoes successful cancer surgery. My husband, Ken Ofori-Atta, the former finance minister, has undergone the scheduled robotic-assisted radical prostatectomy. This was to deal with prostate cancer, and it was done at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota on Friday, June 13th. The procedure took 4+ hours. The doctors are pleased with how the procedure went and will now place him on a prosthetic regime. Kenneth has always been resilient, but this has been very difficult, with the OSP choosing this period, the period just before his surgery, to declare a red alert on him. Kenneth is bearing up well and focused on doing whatever he can to be restored to good health. Our family is truly grateful for the support and prayers of many people and pastors. Signed, Professor Mrs. Angela Ofori-Atta, wife of Kenneth Ofori-Atta. Now, in Africa, or if you are a human being with your head properly screwed on, you will know that when somebody is down or somebody is ill, you do not go chasing or attacking. But the OSP is insisting that we have given you opportunities, you didn't. Now, for those who don't remember, this is the same Mr. Ofori-Atta who told all of us that because of his own health, his own company that he founded, which is Data Bank, he is moving away from it so that he leaves the management for some other people because of his own health. His own people who broke away from the MPP to go and form the Movement for Change, they're saying it. And that has been trumpeted many, many times. Now, the question somebody asked me yesterday was that if the man can leave his own company on the basis of ill health to stay away, but stayed in government to serve with the same ill health condition, then there's a question. You remember in the second term, Mr. Ofori-Atta was not in the country. His cousin, Nana Akufo-Addo, kept the finance minister position for him for as long as he was away and ill, until he came to be nominated to be vetted. And for the first time in Ghana's history, Mr. Oseche Mensah Bonsu, a respected parliamentarian, he read the budget of the Republic of Ghana to us like a prose poem. He read the budget of the Republic of Ghana to us like a prose poem. Brofo Fincham, but he read it to us like a prose poem. Even when it came to debating that budget, you remember the face-off that was had because for the whole time that the budget was on, Mr. Ofori Attah refused to appear. Within that same period, when we wanted to pass e-levy, somebody was brought in an ambulance, to help pass e-levy. I lie. Somebody even had an accident, came to say that he went to Parliament to sit or sort himself out in the washroom, went into the chamber to help to pass e-levy. These are questions on the minds of young men and young women who are looking for jobs, who don't have jobs, who were told that e-levy was going to give them 11 million. These were young people who were told that the SMA deal was going to give them jobs to do. They are asking questions. So what happened? Now the OSP says, look, we have had enough. We are coming for you. That is their matter. That is with Ken Ofori Attah. We are not the judges, but you are the Ghanaians, so you can be. Now finally, and quickly so, there's something that's happening. Galamsey is still on. It is killing all of us. Galamsey is killing all of us. Whether you choose to talk about it because your party is in government, or whether you choose not to talk about it because your government is not in power, and the more it gets worse, the more you gain political capital of it, is your own problem. I've been talking about it, and I'll talk about it. The Nzema East Municipal Assembly has been clamping down on some Galamseyers or illegal miners. They have arrested 20 in an operation. The Nzema East Municipal Security Council Task Force, led by the Municipal Chief Executive Officer, the Honorable Herbert Kwa Dixon, on Saturday, 14th of June 2025, raided some illegal mining sites, mainly to clamp down on some Galamsey activities being carried out in some parts of the municipality. The joint operations, which was carried out last week and was solely sponsored by the Municipal Assembly, were made up of the Axim Divisional Command of the Ghana Police Service, National Investigations Bureau, and the Blue Water Guard Team. The targeted areas included Akango, Belebo, and Douale, which is along the river Ankobra. The successful operations led to the arrest of 20 illegal miners who were mining without the legally acquired permits. Other equipment seized include 6 control boards of excavators, as well as 35 farm machines, and dredge boots and other items were destroyed. The MC, Honorable Kwa Dixon, warned individuals and groups who were involved in the act of engaging in illegality in the area with respect to the destruction of the forest and water bodies to desist from such acts, since the Assembly is ready to clamp down on them at an announced period. He also urged chiefs and opinion leaders of communities who have given out their lands for such acts, especially in the deep forest zones and along river bodies, mainly River Ankobra, to refrain from perpetrating and aiding in such devastations. The Assembly is committed to ensuring our water bodies and forest areas are maintained devoid of pollution and destruction by recalcitrant people. Let's see 2 of the videos. While we look for the videos, you remember we showed you some videos of Dr. Hannah Luzabitu Kote of the Mineral Development Fund, and how a police officer, a senior police officer at that, was literally preventing them to arrest Galamseyers. Just be playing the videos. This is in Nzema East. But just last week, we played the videos of how Dr. Hannah Luzabitu Kote went into the forest unannounced. Even her staff, she tells me that even her staff, when we interviewed her, she said even her staff didn't know where they were going. And they were not told that they were traveling. They just came to work and they were told that we are going somewhere. Nobody announced anything. Before they knew it, they were in the bush. Before they knew it, they were in the bush. And they were in the bush with our Chief of Bureau, Evans Inco. Of course, I had to do the arrangement for Evans to be in the bush with them. But even me, who did the arrangement, I didn't know the specific spot that we're going. Even Bill did not know the specific spot that we were going. Even the staff did not know. They got there, they arrested the people, and then a senior police officer paid with your taxes, who is supposed to prevent the people from entering the bush, now prevents the people. I want to see the action the IGP takes on that senior police officer. Because people like that are part of the nation-wrecking scheme, and they have to be dealt with. This water is what we will all drink. This water is what will flow into our ocean. This water is what will come and poison the fish. And for those who give that silly rebuttal to say that, Mutiti Accra na mo card Galamsey, mumbra, they are coming for you one by one. And your relatives who live in Abuchi, who ask you to buy them in patois and all those things, and what do you call it, roast them and send to them, they are all going to be poisoned along with us. Or we will be in the cyanide, mercury, and drinking. We'll be in it together. The cyanide and mercury and alum drinking, we are in it together. Look at the devastation. Look at the water. This is a river body. Do you want the children to only remember that the river is brown? How shameful can we be? How heartless can we be? How unpatriotic and unnationalistic can we be? And you have people supporting this. You have people benefiting from this. The people who bought them the chamfans. I'm saying to the people who made this arrest, the Nzimais people, find the chassis numbers of those chamfans. Trace those who imported them into this country, the excavators as well. Interrogate them. Don't just look for the low hands you went to find there. Go for the big boys. When you go for the big boys, the matter will end. Please call me 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154. Remember, we're meeting later tonight, 6 p.m., St. Joseph the Work Anglican Church, Corpus Christi. Reverend Canon Dr. Patrick Okanja Bote will be there under the leadership of Pinkus Pinkra. We'll see you shortly later in the evening. Good morning.